Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name's Rhiannon and today I'm giving you guys my August TBR and a Bookish bingo revamp. Yes, you heard that right. I've been doing Bookish bingo now for over a year, and over the last few months I've just found it to be quite boring. There wasn't much to show you in real time because I spun the bingo cage beforehand, showed you the prompts on screen, so technically I could have cheated even though I promise I never did. And I just felt like overall there was a disconnect, and so I sat down and I thought, what could I do to make this more fun but still keep the bingo element in this game? And I finally stumbled upon an idea. So instead of having the bingo cage as per usual, I now have these balls. I don't know how well you can see, but there are pieces of paper inside these balls, and what I'm actually going to do is pop them all in a book sleeve. So I have my Lord of the Rings ones here. What I'll be doing is putting my hand in, not looking of course, and choosing a ball. Inside every ball there is a prompt, and every time I pull one of these out I will have to replace the prompt inside of it. So just to give you guys an idea, this is what the paper looks like. As you can see, it does have the prompt on it, but it also has a number, and that number is going to determine what we can cross off the bingo board. So that is what incorporates the bingo element to it. I'm quite sad that we don't have the cage, to be honest with you, but like I said, it just felt like there was a disconnect. I think this will be a lot more fun. I'm in the moment, I have to choose books as I get the prompts, and I'm just hoping that you guys will enjoy this a lot more and have some fun watching. I've also decided that if I choose the same colour twice, I'll need to add another book to my TBR. I'm probably going to regret doing this, but again, I just think it adds an element of fun, and it does just make the game a little bit more high stakes. I feel like I've covered everything now, but hopefully throughout this video you'll be able to catch on and understand how the game works. I'm so sorry that this intro is longer than usual, but I did just want to explain the rules and the new game to you before we just dove in. Also, just a quick note before we start, if you're new here, please do remember to click the subscribe button. It truly does mean the world to me, and it does help my channel to grow as well. Right, without further ado, let's just dive into the fun stuff, which is of course the prompts. So the first one I've chosen is blue, and let's just see what the prompt is. So this is what we got, and I believe that that says fantasy. Yes, it does, and the number that we got is 23. So I have just checked, and unfortunately number 23 is not on the bingo board, but as you saw, the prompt for that is fantasy, and I've decided to go for Raybearer by Jordan Ifueko. This book was very kindly sent to me by Michael over at Average Reader for my birthday, and I'm very excited to say that we have both decided to buddy read this in August. I honestly don't feel like I can do this book justice by trying to describe it to you, so for this one I am just going to read you the synopsis. So it says, Tarasai has always longed for the warmth of a family. She was raised in isolation by her mysterious, cunning and often absent mother known only as the Lady. When Tarasai comes of age, the Lady sends her to the capital of the global empire of Aristar to be chosen as one of the Crown Prince's Council of 11. If she's picked, she'll be joined with the other council members through the Ray, a bond deeper than blood. But the Lady has other ideas, including a magical wish that Tarasai is compelled to obey. Kill the Crown Prince once she gains his trust. Now, doesn't that just sound phenomenal? I can't believe that it's taken me this long to get my hands on this book. I did want to pre-order the Fairy Loot edition of it when it came out, but at that time I wasn't in the best financial situation, and so I decided to put it off for a bit. So I'm extremely grateful to Michael for sending this to me, and I'm so excited for us to get to our buddy read. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop my hand down into a pile of prompts and just choose out one at random. I will show you guys, and then I'll pop it in the ball and pop that back in the book sleeve. So this is the prompt that I've chosen, and like I said, I'm just going to pop this back in the ball and pop that back in the sleeve. Ooh, green. So as you saw, I chose the green ball, and this is the prompt inside of it, and I can just about read it on the viewfinder, and it does say book club book. And the number we got was 56, and again, unfortunately, that is not on the bingo board. The book that I've chosen for this prompt though is Kingdom of the Wicked by Kerry Maniscalco. If you don't know, I am a Patreon for Chloe over at Books with Chloe, and every month she does host a Patreon book club. So this has worked out perfectly because I wanted to fit this book in if I could, and luckily I managed to do so. From what I can gather, this is a dark YA fantasy, and we do follow twins. However, one night one of the sisters goes out and doesn't come home, and the other sister then discovers her body the next day. Distraught, Amelia, who is the sister that has obviously survived, vows to find her sister's killer at any cost, even if that means calling upon a dark magic that has long been forbidden. And then after that, I think she somehow gets involved with the Prince of Hell, and they try to work together to find out who actually killed her sister. Again, this sounds like a book I'm going to love. I have read Stalking Jack the Ripper by Kerry Maniscalco, and I did really enjoy that at the time I picked it up, but I've never actually carried on with the rest of the books. Hopefully though, this will give me the kick I need, and I'm just really intrigued to see what's going to happen in this book. Right, so to swap out that prompt, I'm going to go for this one. And once again, I'm just going to pop it in and pick my next prompt. So as we can see, I've chosen pink. And this is what it says on it. I am going to have to read this myself though, because I cannot read it off the viewfinder. Okay, so it says read a book relating to royalty. So either the title has some word relating to royalty in it, or the plot has royalty involved in some way or another. This is a difficult one, and I'm honestly struggling to choose a book. So whilst I think about that, I am just going to check if 50 is on the board. And once again, it's not. I'm actually having a really tough time choosing a book for this prompt, guys. I genuinely cannot think of a single one. Okay, so I had a quick little look at my shelves, and one that jumped out at me was Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. This actually works out perfectly, and I'm so glad I spotted it, because I do want to use this for a prompt in a read-along that's happening this month, which I will talk about at the end of this video. But from what I've been told and from what I've seen online, this does involve King Arthur. So again, for this one, I will read you the synopsis just so that we're all on the same page. So it says, after her mother dies in an accident, 16-year-old Bree Matthews wants to escape. A residential program for bright high schoolers seems like the perfect opportunity, until she witnesses a magical attack her very first night on campus. A flying demon feeding on human energies. A secret society of so-called Legendborn that hunt the creatures down. A mysterious mage who calls himself a Merlin and who attempts and fails to wipe Bree's memory of everything she saw. The mage's failure unlocks Bree's own unique magic and a buried memory from the night her mother died. Now Bree will do whatever it takes to discover the truth, even infiltrate the Legendborn. But when the Legendborn reveal themselves as descendants of King Arthur's knights and foretell a magical war, Bree must decide how far she'll go for the truth. Should she use her magic to take the society down or join the fight? Again, another one that sounds amazing, but I'm not gonna lie, I am a bit apprehensive about this one. If you can't tell by my channel name and possibly my accent, I'm Welsh, and my language and culture and history is something that is very important to me. Now, something a lot of you may not know is that King Arthur is first ever mentioned in a piece of Welsh text, which technically makes him a Welsh king. However, I've never seen him referred to as a Welsh king. It's always English or British, which technically isn't true. As well as that, I did read The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, and that book does focus on Welsh history. However, the author wasn't historically accurate in that, and it did really grate on me. And as well as that, I listened to the audiobook and every single Welsh name was mispronounced. So now you can kind of see why there's a potential for me not to enjoy this one. I'm hoping I love it. Either way, I will be reading this month, and I'm excited to finally get to it and see what I think. Right, to replace that prompt, we will go for this one. And I'm just going to pop it back in there. Okay, so we got purple this time, and now I'm very scared for the next pick because I feel like I'm definitely going to choose a colour that I've already had. And the prompt for this one is to read a book that has an element of nature on the cover. And I am sorry if these go out of focus, my camera isn't the best when it comes to auto-focusing, so hopefully you got to see that. And the number we got on this one was 51. I'm so sorry guys, this is another number that is not on the board, but a book that I have right in front of me actually is The Appeal by Janice Hallett. This is actually my first ever pick for my Patreon book club, and it does have elements of nature on the cover. So all I know about this one is that it is a murder mystery book, and I was actually recommended this by someone who worked at Waterstones. They saw that I had a few Agatha Christie books in my pile as I was walking around the shop, and they did point this out to me and said that I probably would enjoy it. Not gonna lie, this does sound extremely complicated. There are a lot of characters involved and a lot of things seem to be going on, but it does just say there's a mystery to solve in the small town of Lockwood. It starts with the arrival of two secretive newcomers and ends with a tragic death. Roderick Tanner, QC, has assigned law students Charlotte and Femi to the case. Someone has already been sent to prison for murder, but he suspects that they are innocent, and that far darker secrets have yet to be revealed. Throughout the Amateur Dramatic Society's disastrous staging of All My Sons, and the shady charity appeal for a little girl's medical treatment, the murderer hid in plain sight. Will Charlotte and Femi solve the case? Will you? I mean, that is definitely a way to get me intrigued. Another way, though, is to write a book completely in mixed media. Now, I will give you a close-up of this, but this book is told in emails, text messages, and just different kind of notes. So it's definitely not your standard formatted type of book. I don't think any of this is actually told in the format of a normal novel. I believe it's all mixed media, all letters, emails, text, that sort of thing. And I'm really intrigued to see how that's going to work. So if you would like to join in on my Patreon buddy read for this book, where I will be filming an exclusive spoiler-filled vlog for this, you can definitely check out the link down in my description box. I will say though that the book club is a perk only available to the Ranger and Elf tiers. Right, and hopefully what will be our last prompt, we have this one. And so let's just pop this one back in and choose my next prompt. No way. How on earth have I managed that? If you can't tell, this is yellow, which is a colour that we haven't had before, so I don't have to put any extra books on my TBR this month. It probably would have worked out better if I did though, because after this month I am going back to teaching, and that's going to take up a lot of my time, and I'm going to hate myself next month when I have a stack of extra books to read. But for now, this is the last prompt, so let's just see what it is. So the prompt for that is backlist book, and the number we got is 61. Well guys, there goes another month with us not crossing anything off on the bingo board. Once again, I'm so sorry, but that is the nature of these random TBR games. Some months we get to cross off a load, some months we don't get to cross off any, so hopefully next month is a better one. But for backlist book, I don't think it's going to be a surprise to anyone that I've chosen an Agatha Christie book. So this is They Do It With Mirrors. It's the next book I need to read in the Miss Marple mystery series, and I'm so glad to actually fit this one onto my TBR. If you don't know, I am trying to read one Agatha Christie book a month, and so far I have been trudging through slowly with the Miss Marple books. This is also a really good option because it does have an audiobook available, so I will definitely be listening to this one. I really do enjoy listening to these on audio. For this one, it says, Miss Marple senses danger when she visits a friend living in Stoneygates, a rehabilitation centre for delinquents. Her fears are confirmed when someone shoots at the administrator. Though he's not injured, a mysterious visitor is less fortunate. Shot dead simultaneously in another part of the building. Pure coincidence? Miss Marple thinks not, and must use all her cunning to solve the riddle of the stranger's visit and his murder. So yeah, a short murder mystery that I'm likely to fly through. I really do enjoy reading these books, and I cannot wait to get another one ticked off my list. And then just quickly, I am going to choose the prompt to go back into this for next month's round, and that one is this one. So I'm going to pop that back in there ready for next month's round, and I honestly cannot wait to film that TBR already. So these are the books that Bookish Bingo has chosen for me this month, and I can honestly say that I cannot wait to get to every single one of these. Saying that though, we're not done yet. There are 3 read-alongs happening in August that I want to participate in, so I am just going to go through those readathons with you now and show you guys my TBR for those. First off, we have the Merlin Readathon, and guys, I cannot wait for this. If you don't know, Merlin is one of my favourite ever series. We follow King Arthur and Merlin living their day-to-day lives in a Camelot that doesn't allow magic. This is an instance where I love what they've done with the King Arthur retelling. I have the whole box set on DVD, and it is currently on Netflix now as well, so I definitely need to give it a rewatch soon. But this is a read-along completely inspired by that TV series, and because of my love for it, it would be rude not to take part. So this is running from August 1st to August 15th, so the first 2 weeks of August. Hopefully I can fit a graphic in on screen. I will move to the side a little bit for you now. If not, I will leave the announcement video linked down below for you guys, so definitely check it out for more information. There are a lot of different paths you could choose for this readathon, but this is just the one I've chosen personally. The first prompt for me is to read an Arthurian retelling, and how perfect does Legendborn fit into this? This was my choice for that prompt anyway, so even though I had a blank for a bit whilst choosing a book for Bookish Bingo, I'm so glad I thought about this one again, and it does just fit perfectly. Another one that does also fit for the second prompt is Raybearer, and the prompt for that is to read a book with gold foiling, and all I have to do is turn the book slightly, and I'm sure you can see how reflective that gold foiling is. Again, I'm so happy that this one fits in there and that I don't have to choose an extra book. The next prompt is to read a book that's under 250 pages, and I've just checked to see how many pages this one has, and guys, what do you know? It has 218 pages, so I can use this book now for that prompt. And then for the last prompt, don't worry, I do have a new book to show you. The prompt for that is to read a scary book, and how much scarier could it get than reading about a real-life serial killer? So this one is Killing for Company, The Case of Dennis Nilsen by Brian Masters. This is one that I've owned for years. If you don't know, they did recently release a TV series for this book as well, and it does actually star David Tennant in it. I would highly recommend you guys watch that if you haven't. I feel like it's such a good portrayal of Dennis Nilsen himself and the crimes he committed. But I've never actually read this book. A fact about me that some of you may not know is that I'm fascinated by true crime. In my spare time, if I'm not reading, I will normally be watching a true crime documentary or video on YouTube. It's just something that I've always had an interest in. I did want to study criminology or crime scene investigation at university. Of course, I went the complete opposite way from that, but it's still something I think about all the time, and a goal of mine for this year has also been to read more true crime non-fiction. Luckily for me, one of my best friends here on BookTube, Chloe from Chloe Reads Books, has started a true crime book club. I will leave the information for that link down below for you, so please do check out Chloe's announcement video if you're interested. But the book of the month for August is, you guessed it, this one. I don't want to say too much about this book, but essentially Dennis Nilsen was a serial killer who was caught in the 1980s when human remains were found in the drains of this estate. Within days of being arrested, Nilsen had confessed to 15 murders, and his victims were unfortunately all homosexual men who had never been missed. And this is what's interesting to me. It says Brian Masters, with Nilsson's full cooperation, has produced a unique account of the murderer's mind. Killing for Company is a groundbreaking criminal study of the serial killer and necrophiliac known as the Muswell Hill murderer, and one of the most shocking books you will ever read. So I feel like this is one that is definitely going to terrify me. The second readathon I want to take part in is Disneyathon, and if you couldn't guess, that is a readathon all about Disney, running from August 1st to the 31st, so that one is throughout the whole month. For this one, I've decided to join Team Alice in Wonderland. I did just go off the prompts and the books that I could fit towards those prompts, and this is the one that worked best for me. I am going to have to read these off my phone though. The first one is Alice, read a book with an adventure, and for this one I'm going to be revisiting an old favourite of mine, The Hobbit. Please name me a more iconic adventure story. I don't think you can, to be honest with you. If you don't know, in this one we follow a hobbit named Bilbo Baggins, and one day a wizard named Gandalf the Grey knocks at his door and invites him to go on a quest with them. Bilbo says no, but then one night a company of 13 dwarves fall onto his doorstep and whisk him away on this adventure. The aim of this quest though is not as fun as it seems. The dwarves plan to defeat the dragon Smaug to reclaim their homeland, and it just so happens that Bilbo is the perfect person to send in to try and see what's going on there without waking the dragon. That's all I'm going to say about this one. I absolutely love it. It's definitely one of my favourite books of all time, if not my favourite book of all time, and it's definitely overdue a reread, so I'm so glad to be fitting this one onto my TBR. Next up is White Rabbit. Read a book where the pressure is high for the characters. For this one I'm going to be reusing a book once again, and that one will be Legendborn. And then one of the things I can do as part of Team Alice is skip a prompt, so I'm going to skip number 3 and move on to number 4 instead. I'm only skipping that one because I plan to use the same book for prompt number 5 as well, so it just saves me repeating myself. But for number 4 it says Mad Hatter, read a book with an intriguing cover. Again, Raybearer, I absolutely love it, and I didn't realise that there was a face in this cover for the longest time. I'm not going to point it out to you, you guys can figure that out for yourselves as well. And then the last prompt is The Tweedles, read the group book. And for this one we did have a selection of books to choose from, but guys, one of the books there just called out to me. It's Heartless by Marissa Meyer. This book ignited my love of reading again after not reading for a while because of school and A-levels and everything like that. I saw the audiobook for this and decided to give it a go, and it soon became a favourite of mine. I absolutely loved it. It's a retelling of one of my favourite stories, which is Alice in Wonderland, and it was just the perfect book for me at that time. Saying that though, I've never gone back to reread this book, and so when I saw it as an option for the group book, I could not choose another one. So for this one it does just say, Catherine may be one of the most desired girls in Wonderland and a favourite of the unmarried king, but her interests lie elsewhere. A talented baker, she wants to open a shop and create delectable pastries, but for her mother, such a goal is unthinkable for a woman who could be a queen. At a royal ball where Kath is expected to receive the king's marriage proposal, she meets handsome and mysterious Jest. For the first time, she feels the pull of true attraction. At the risk of offending the king and infuriating her parents, she and Jest enter into a secret courtship. Kath is determined to choose her own destiny, but in a land thriving with magic, madness and monsters, fate has other plans. I'm so excited to dive back into this book. Even though I remember how it ends, I feel like the rest of this book just makes me feel so happy. It's such a fun and interesting novel as well, because we do see how the Queen of Hearts came to be the Queen of Hearts that we know from Alice in Wonderland and the Disney adaptation as well. She wasn't always that ruthless, guys, but something happens in this that changes her completely. And honestly, this is one I've been putting off reading for a while because I'm scared that I won't love it as much, but I have a feeling that that won't be the case. I think the nostalgic connection I have with this one will definitely mean that it has a place in my heart. And also guys, I do just want to show you this because it is beautiful. So this is the cover, and I feel like this is one of my favourite covers ever. It's so pretty, and I really can't say more about this. I'm just so excited to get to it, and I'm glad that this is one of the choices for the group book. And then lastly, we have the Join the Six read along. So if you like Daisy Jones and the Six, you should definitely keep your eyes peeled for this. It's a read along happening from August 16th to the 22nd, and for this one I've decided that I'm actually going to post a separate TBR for it, or just film a dedicated vlog for that readathon and tell you the books I plan on reading then, because I feel like this video is way too long and it'll be nice just to group everything together in one vlog for that readathon, where I can share with you the books I want to read and give you my thoughts on those books in the same video. Right, we have finally made it to the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for sticking with me if you have. If you are still here and want to let me know, please leave me some colourful hearts down in the comments, and definitely let me know what you think of this new TBR game. Whilst you're down there, don't forget to click the like button if you like this video, and the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content from me. Speaking of more content, like I mentioned earlier, I have recently launched my Patreon page where you can get access to exclusive behind the scenes content, live reading sprints and live shows, exclusive reading vlogs, access to my Patreon book club and more. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, once again I will have my Patreon link down in the description for you, or I will have a picture of the link up on screen. But that is finally it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. It truly does mean the world to me, and I will see you soon in my next video. Goodbye!